Joy namai dai shi la jembara jo yi da mango ran mendala gamne yandara ya mi. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome. Yeah. So so we will start today's class, today's session uh with this prayer. I mean this verse that we are going to start with today is actually part of food offering prayer. I mean, we use that as a food offering prayer. If you read the book, if you read the verse itself, it is not a offering because it doesn't talk anything about offering food or anything. But normally, when we do the food offering, we may do like one, two, three, four, five food offerings, and at the end of the food offering, we add this verse as an additional. And so we will start with this, and then it may be helpful uh, to 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 memorize this, to keep this in mind, so that whenever you eat, you can reflect on that, and then it will help you physically as well as psychologically. So let me read it in Tibetan first. Khase mentan tawar regwayi decha shedang mebar tingine yachir mala nimbe chir mala tsachir mala lune bashik chir. So that is the Tibetan, and in English. Mhm. Take food as medicine. Okay, so let me read the English. Take food as medicine in the right amount. Okay, without attachment, without hatefulness. Don't eat for vanity, for pride, or ego's sake. Eat only for your body's sustenance. Mm, um, So the first thing is to regard food as a medicine, and I think that is that's a very important. Actually, in the monastic, the Vinaya Sutras, the Vinayas are the discipline, the books on discipline for the monks to live by. So in the Vinaya Sutra, there are three types of medicine, and the food is also considered a medicine, and the food is called known as the timely medicine, medicine that you take on time. And anyways, Nagarjuna is telling the king that one should regard the food as a medicine. So medicine is something that to heal to sustain your body, uh, to give nutrition for your body, um, basically to sustain, um, to keep the body healthy. So a food should be seen as that, and then with such a mindset, one should take the food. Mm. And the reason you are taking your food, uh, so you're not eating um, regard food as a medicine. So medicine is to help you, to nurture you, so regard as that. And then for example, when you take a medicine, usually you are sick and then you take the medicine. So what is the sickness, what is the ailment that you are suffering from? So the suffering is usually what we call the three poisons, right? So we have been food poisoned, and the food is the poisoning. The poisons are, like normally we call three poisons: ignorance, hatred, and attachment. So here we are referring to attachment and hatred. So attachment and hatred has we have been consuming so much of um, attachment, things that greed, lust, this kind of thing, as well as hate, anger, mm, things that we want to things that we either that we want to attract too much or we want to reject too much. So anger and attachment. So these are the poisons that we have been consuming all our life. Yeah. So therefore, when you take the food, which is ordinary food, a morsel of food, whether it's a bread, noodles, soup, whatever, think that you are taking the food in order to get rid of, because the food is the medicine. So medicine for what? Medicine to treat two symptoms, the symptom of anger and the symptom of attachment, symptom of lust. So in order to cure these two things, anger and attachment, uh, I'm consuming this medicine known as FOOD, food. So that make sure that you're eating for the sake of sustaining your body, to make your body, uh, let's say, healthy or strong enough to fight these two poisons. These because food is the medicine, right? So take the food as a medicine to fight these two things called anger and attachment. And that should be the goal. That should be your purpose of eating a food, taking a food. And consuming food should be for this reason and should not be for vanity, for pride, or ego's sake. Um, so vanity, pride, and ego. So what are the differences here? So it's been translated like this in English, but in Tibetan, it's gyakchir mala, nyembe mala, tsachir mala. So gyakpa, nyemba, and tsakpa, which is very similar. It's almost synonymous with each other. So therefore, the meaning behind each of them, I shall explain. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
should be taken, the food should be taken for getting rid of the anger and attachment, and not for those three things, which I will explain. So the first one, vanity. So it's been translated as vanity in English. The actual word in Tibetan is actually gyakpa. Gyakpa means fat. So the food should not be taken in order to make yourself fat. So prior to, let's say, maybe 100, maybe 70 years ago, or 100, maybe 70, 60 years ago, before that, anybody who looks fat is being fat is good, right? Maybe so 30, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, then everything changed. So the diet changed. Everybody can easily become fat. So now it's more popular to be skinny than to be fat. Back in the day, more than 40 years ago, 50 years ago, it's more fashionable. If you can, you must become fat. Fat is popular. Slim is unpopular. Now, slim is popular, fat is not popular. So things change, right? So first thing, the first word, it's like just to make it sound easy, or make it sound appropriate. The translation has been done to say vanity. The actual wording is fat. So don't eat to become fat. That is what it's saying literally. The second one is nyemba. Nyemba in Tibetan is someone who is fat, okay, as well as uh, someone has a very, let's say, radiance and glowing, so very nice appearance, like glowing and radiance. And then tsakpa is someone who has a very strong body, or robust, sturdy body. So basically, you don't eat in order to become fat. You don't eat in order to become to have a glow and look nice, this and that, and also not to appear strong and to make your body strong as in a bodybuilder. So what you have to think about is uh, back in those days, just like, okay, so we can actually replace it in today's time, because today what we regard fat in those days is what we regard slim in today's time. So in today's time, everybody tries to become so slim, this and that. So back in the day, people, if you can afford, if you have the money, if you can afford it, then they try to become fat, because usually most of the people, general public, doesn't have enough to eat. So only those who have enough, like kings, minister, rich people, are fat. they can have more food. Usually the poor people does not have enough to eat, so therefore they are not fat, they are not big, right? They're not fat, plump. So striving to become plump, when you eat something to make yourself look fat, because those days looking fat means you are a rich person, you are a wealthy person. So therefore people strive to become um, look look fat. So it's the same thing in today's time. People who can afford it eat healthy, and when you eat healthy, you become slim. When you are not able to eat healthy, and when you have a lot of work to do, this and that, you you know you have a very erratic schedule for eating, taking your meals, and then usually you gain a lot of weight. So therefore, a food should not be taken as a mm, um, as a as a ego booster. So when you take a food, the idea should not be that, okay, by taking this food, I'm going to look nice, I'm going to look slim, or I'm going to look fat, or I'm going to look plump, whatever. So don't take food for the sake of looking better. That is the whole idea. So the first one, Gyapa, is to make yourself fat, which means to make yourself look large, big, like that. Look strong, look big. The second one is Nyimba, which is to make yourself radiant color, nice color, everything like that. Um, the complexion, the skin complexion, eating in order to make your skin complexion look nice. That is Nyimba. And then Tsakpa is to make your body sturdy, you know. The first one is to make yourself look big. The third one is to make yourself not look big, but actually to make yourself very strong, like a bodybuilder. So these three things, to make yourself very strong, like a bodybuilder, to make your skin color and complexion nice, right? And then to make yourself larger than what you actually are. So stop eating with these three motivation, these three intention. And then eat or take food in order to sustain the body, because the body, in order to sustain the body and to repel, to remove the toxicity of anger and toxicity of attachment. So eat the food with that intention. So this thought or this idea actually comes from because Nagarjuna is a thinker, a philosopher. So most of the time, a philosopher, a great thinker, usually don't care about looks, appearances. So if you look at any historical, any great thinker and scientist or philosopher in the history, they don't really care about how they look, how they, um, you know, they don't really care about the appearances. They don't really care about the body. They usually care about the mind. Their main goal is to uh, um, develop things that will, help humanity, help this and that with their mind. And in order to sustain that mind, they will eat, of course, but they're not really thinking about how to look nice, how to look good. Um, People who are really into bodybuilding, people who are really into making themselves strong and this and that, are not necessarily the greatest thinker in history, the greatest philosopher in history, the greatest writer in history. Most of the people who actually contribute greatly, physically, sorry, mentally, psychologically, are not necessarily physically that well built. So the idea is that for most of the thinkers, the idea is that the body is the container for something more important than the body, the physical body, which is the mind. So in order to develop the mind, one need to have a body, but that body does not necessarily have to be, has to be at the um, peak, right? So that is that is the idea. So therefore, mm, Nagarjuna is telling the king that when you consume the food as in order to nourish your body, and that's it. Don't think too much about what food is going to make me look nice, make me look fat, or make me look large or big, or make me strong, like that. And Yeah, so I will follow up with this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, um, yeah, the follow up is that you must the reason I mean the king, of course, he will try to he will take food to make himself strong because he's the king. He will do that, and because he's the king, he will be offered so many choices. So the kings of those days are very similar to the general public in today's time. In terms of food, they have so much things to eat. In today's time, also people have so much to eat, and then they consume too much, and then they, become fat and all these things. So the king needs to be careful not to become too fat, not to become too fit, or not to become too this and that. Basically, not consuming food to just consuming food to dedicating food just for the sake of the body or just for the sake of the um, outlook of the body. That is something one should not think too much. If you look at history, I mean, all the like the Buddha and all the sages, uh, they really don't care about food. They don't. They try to avoid food, and then when you avoid food, and then there is a hunger, strong hunger. There's a pang. The hunger, strong hunger is there. Then at that time, your mind is also very sharp. Your mind gets sharpened because when you're hungry, your senses become acute, and that way you can meditate. You can, if you want to relax, if you want to rest, if you want to sleep, hunger not easy, very difficult, because sleeping is for relaxation. If you are hungry, you cannot relax. But if you want to work mentally, meditate, then if you are hungry, if you eat less, then that will actually make your senses acute, sharp. And so therefore, when you meditate, you will be able to have clearer insights. Mm. Your meditation becomes more clear when you eat less food. So therefore, basically, what Nagarjuna is telling the king is lose interest in food. You can eat just to keep the body intact, just make the body fit. Fit bodybuilder and body fitness are two different things, right? So eat to make your body fit, and that's it. Don't eat to make your body more than whatever it is. If you do that, it's just a waste of time. Use your uh, energy, talent, potential to do more great things than just to eat. So there's a saying in English, mm, eat to live, not live to eat. So this is what Nagarjuna is telling in summary. Okay. Okay. Now we go to the next verse. Mm, okay. 39, verse number 39, right? Okay, Tibetan first. Rigbe dani nimbar tata da zeme tungi deme dene ni ne tsian jebu mebar mi gyowa chanda denbar teta pardo nils. Um, O knowledgeable one, recite all day and in the first and last watch of the night, then in between these two sleep mindfully, so that your slumbers are not spent in vain. Yeah. Knowledgeable one is referred to the king because he's he's a king, and usually, yeah, of course, king is a king, and he's a spoiled. Kings are, of course, spoiled, right? So therefore, often when you talk to the king, you have to say Your Majesty, Your Highness, or knowledgeable one. You have to say nice thing to the king in order for the king to listen to you. Otherwise, if you really talk to him like a student and teacher thing, then the king loses interest because the king's been so spoiled and used to that kind of thing. Anyway, in order to respect the king is referred to as the knowledgeable one or knowledgeable one, right? Um, so during the entire day, practice, recite. And then also at the first and the last periods of the night, then so that also practice or recite, do recitations, like recitations of mantras, so that your whole day and night, basically whenever you are awake, basically you are able to utilize the full day and night for the sake of acquiring or accumulating more merit and more virtue. Now, reciting. There's a two type of recitation. So you normally, when we say recite, we're thinking about reciting the mantra, verbal recitation, right? But there is a verbal recitation and mental recitation. So recite means to repeat, right? When you repeat something over and over again, it's called recite. Recite the mantra means Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. More than once, it's recite. If you just say one time, it's not recite. It's a citation. It's not reciting. So basically, it's repeated chanting. Recite. So meditation is also recitation in the sense that it's not verbal recitation, but it's a mental recitation, because when you meditate, let's say when you meditate on impermanence, right? Then you are thinking about impermanence over and over again. Let's say death, you are thinking about death again and again, over and over again. So it's a repetition, it's a recitation. So I'm not, I don't know whether it fits, how properly it fits in English language or in Vietnamese or in other languages, but in Tibetan and as well as in the most of the Indic language, the Dharmic languages, recitation can be both verbal and mental. So the Nagarjuna is asking King Gautamaputra to be uh, to recite uh, to recite mantra. Okay, what mantra? I will explain later. So to asking him to recite mantra verbally and mentally at all times, both day and night. Yeah. Um, so mantras, so yeah, reciting the mantra verbally and mentally. So verbally is verbally coming from the mouth, like Om Mani Padme Hum or any mantra. And a mantra, traditionally, a mantra is something that is dedicated to a Buddha or a deity, etc. But a mantra does not necessarily, like loosely speaking, a mantra does not have to be mm, a Sanskrit a Sanskrit verse dedicated to a deity. Traditionally, yes, but loosely speaking, it does not have to be. Any sort of let's say, for example, every morning you wake up, you tell yourself, okay, today I will make my I will make sure that this day is a meaningful day. If you repeatedly keep telling this to yourself, every morning you wake up, you have this verse, like a quote in front of you. Tell yourself, I will make sure that today I will make three people happy. I will make sure I'll make three people happy, or I will make sure that I make myself fulfilled and happy. So if you have these kind of verses, you can create your own verses, and then every morning you can recite that, and that becomes your mantra. So traditionally, mantra has to be dedicated to a deity, but loosely speaking, it can be any motivational verse. Motivational verses can be your mantra. So therefore, uh, King Nagarjuna is telling the king to have these kind of daily affirmations. Daily, you have this kind of motivation to tell yourself that you can do this. Um, so you can recite them when you say it, okay, I can do it, I can do it. When you say it out loud, it helps you to boost your confidence. And even when you are not saying it out loud, you can always think that I can do it, I can do it. So when you pray to, let's say, Tara, please give me the strength to do this thing. Please give me the strength to complete this task today. That is asking Tara to help you, bless you to able to complete a task. Or if you just tell yourself, I can complete this task, then you're not asking for Tara's blessing, but you are telling yourself that you will be able to complete this task. So either way, whether you say I'm going to complete this task, I am going to complete this task, you say it to yourself, or you request Tara to bless you to complete this task. Either way, it gives you motivation. It gives you the affirmation. It gives you the confidence. It boosts your morale. So it makes you strong enough mentally, prepared to do what you have to do for that day. Then in the so of course on the all the daytime recite all day, and in the first and last watch of the night. So here, night refers to not to evening, but to like night. Anyway, so this is dependent on a very complex clock system, a little bit not complicated, but like complex clock system of day and night, which constitutes about 2 hours each, which can be divided into morning, midday, noon, afternoon, evening, and night, etc., like that. So basically, and each of those, like let's say an evening has beginning of the evening, which is 2 hours, then the middle of the evening, then the last part of evenings, which each has like 2 hours. And so it goes like that. Then the night also has 2 hours beginning, 2 hours middle, 2 hours uh, end. Beginning, middle, and completion. So night, beginning of the night, and uh, at the beginning of night and the end of the night, start reciting the mantra, right? This is what it says. So beginning of the night is around, basically it's around 10 p.m. So by around 10 p.m. or by 10 p.m. do some mantras. So basically that's when you're sleeping. So before 10 p.m. you finish your prayer, do prayer, etc. And then from 10, so 2 more hours beginning, 11 and 12, then 1, 2, which is the middle, then 3, 4, this is like the end, and then wake up at 4, 4:30, etc. And then start reciting mantra and practice again. So the ideal, basically what it's saying is, this is spoken in many other textbook. So an ideal time to sleep, nowadays even a lot of health enthusiasts, they talk about the same thing too, but it's spoken in the text, all the Dharma text, that the ideal time to sleep is the 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. So 10 to 4, which is the beginning of the night to the end of the night, 2 hours each, beginning, middle, and end. So before the beginning of the night, which is 10 p.m., complete all your daily practices or do your recitation, everything. Then sleep from 10 to 4. Then wake up at 4 or 4, something after 4. So that is what it means by recite the whole day, and then also recite at the beginning of the night and the end of the night. That is what it means. So one should recite mantra. So recite mantra is just a reminder, just a reference. But because King Gautamaputra may or may not be a dedicated practitioner, if you're not a dedicated practitioner, you still recite some mantra. But if you are a dedicated practitioner, you may have your daily prayers and all these things, so which you can do at these 2 times, the first watch of the night and the last watch of the night, basically before 10 and after 4, something like that. So that is when you should be and then in between. So from 10 to 4, you are supposed to sleep. You are supposed to recline, sleep. And so here, the third line of the verse number 39 is that then in between these two, sleep mindfully. So what it means to sleep mindfully. So we will cover that. Yeah. So sleeping mindfully means at the time of, so before you go to bed, okay? So these are all recommendations. Sleep at 10 p.m., wake up at 4 p.m., 4 a.m., all these things. So maybe you may have more questions later. We can discuss later. So before you go to sleep, so what you have to think, the mindset, is that before you go to sleep, try to remember all the things that you have done and said, and maybe thought. Um, it's not easy, but if you do that, then you can, all the things that you have done today, things that you are not supposed to do, but you may have done because for this and that this and that reason you have done. Um, so traditionally we call this recollecting your positive and negative karma. So anything that you harm others, hurt others, say bad thing, whatever you did, count them. You can, And traditionally, the Kadamba masters, what they do is they keep two sets of pebbles, small stones, white stone and black stones. So then they, before they sleep, they recollect all the good things they did, all the bad things they did. For each good deed or good thought, good action, good speech, they put one white pebble. For all the negative ones, they put one black pebble. You can use that with write it with a pen and paper now, right? So then uh, you try to recollect everything. So in the beginning, there will be more black stones and less white stones. And gradually, when you keep a tab, when you track your good and bad action, bad karma, bad attitude, bad speech, bad action, when you keep a track on them, then okay, you make one mistake today, right? You're gonna say, okay, you will excuse yourself by saying, okay, I have to um, say bad things to that person because blah blah blah, whatever reason. Tomorrow you said that thing. Day after tomorrow also you say that thing. But then you see a pattern within yourself that you are not really okay. 1 day is an excuse, 2 days excuse, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day. There's no excuse. Basically, you are not um, um, disciplining yourself well enough. So therefore, then you will see that you are going off track, and then you will be ashamed, or you will be ashamed of your own action, your own what you are saying, what you say to commit yourself to, and what you are actually committing yourself to are not in line with each other, not in sync with each other. When you find that out, then you will want to improve. You will want to change your ways. If you don't keep track of what you are doing, then you can say whatever negative thing that you may have done, you can say, oh, I'm doing this for my children, I'm doing this for my country, I'm doing this for blah, blah, blah. You can always make excuse. But if you keep a track, then you will know, okay, 1 day, 2 day, 3 time, 4 time, every time there's no excuse. 4, 5 times, 2, 3 times, there's an excuse. But then eventually you will uh, run out of excuses, and then you will have to change your behavior. So that way, before sleeping, recollect all the good and bad deeds that you have done. So this will help so many things. So one thing, you will be able to keep track on your good and bad deeds. Another thing is that it will sharpen it will refresh your memory. It will sharpen your memory. Um, mm, because you every evening you try to recollect all the things that you did, sorry, every night you recollect everything that you did for the whole day, which is not easy. So step by step, chronologically, when you try to remember that, then if you do it every day, then you become better at remembering things, and your memory lose, your memory will strengthen, your memory will become strong. um, then another thing is, uh, when you keep track on your memory becomes fresh, and then uh, okay, I have to practice that myself because I just lost my thought. I forgot what I'm trying to say. um, so it will help you to refresh your memory, um, and then it will also keep track, by keeping track on all the good and bad things that you have done. You'll be able to refresh your memory, and then it'll help you to keep your memory. But basically, it will be very helpful as you start aging, and then you start lose your memory, start misplacing things, and cannot recollect, cannot remember this and that. When you do this practice, it helps you to um, mm, uh, regain your mnemonic power, memory.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh yeah, now I remember. And the other thing is that it will help you to sleep better, because you know the thing that when you want to sleep, you try to count the stars or count the sheep, like one sheep, two sheep, three sheep, four sheep, or like that, and that actually tires your mind and you sleep. So similarly, when you try to recollect things that you have done the whole day, maybe in the beginning it may be a little bit difficult because you try to, but you don't have to push yourself too hard. So just lie down and try to remember the things that you have done that day. And if you cannot remember you don't have to push very hard. You just try to remember them. Just casually remember them, like counting one sheep, two sheep, three sheep, one star, two star, like that. And that way, either you will be able to remember all the good and bad deeds that you have done the day, very good. Or before you can count everything, you will fall asleep, which is also very good. So either way, it's a memory booster as well as a sleep booster. Then, so when you count, you just count as a, in the restaurants or sometimes in the big shopping mall, there are some guards or whatever people who is doing the counting, like count, count, count. So they are not necessarily judging people. They just count how many people are coming into the store. So just like that, you just count them. Okay, I did a good thing. Okay, good thing. If I did a bad thing. So like this is like when you are sleeping, okay? Usually it's a different thing, but during the sleeping time, don't judge anything. Don't discriminate anything. You did a good thing, okay? Don't be happy about it. If you did a bad thing, don't be unhappy about it. Okay, I did a good thing. Okay, this is a bad thing. Okay. 8 o'clock, I wake up, I say something nice to my colleague. Okay. Or 9:30, I actually raise my voice to my colleague. This and that. So basically, all the good thing, bad thing, just let it be, let it go like a stream of water in the river. Let it be as let them go like that without judgment, judging. Just let them be. So if you do that, that is being mindful. If you judge them, that is not mindful. Okay, because judging thing is that if judging thing is being mindful, then we are being mindful every day, the whole 24/7, because we judge people all the time. When we see things, when we we judge them a lot. When we watch the news, when we talk with people, we judge them. That is not mindful. Mindfulness is not judging them, but letting it, observing, being aware, but then letting it be as it is. That is being mindful. So if you do that, if you keep it mindful, if you don't judge, but observe and let it be, then one, it will strengthen the synapses in your brain, and that will make your memory stronger. And then the other thing is that you will sleep better. Mm. With that, when you sleep, so there's a question: if we recollect our good actions during the day before sleep, will our good karma seeds sprout and grow faster? So there's a question. So it does. The reason, so I'm coming to that reason. So the reason is because out of the mm, uh, 54 types of mental kasadila, um, what they call it, the mind and the mental. Mm, I forgot the term for it. So anyway, sleep. Okay, sleep is considered um, one of the mental factors. Yeah, mental factors. 54 mental factors. So out of the 54 mental factors, sleep is one of them. So sleep is considered what is known as Shengyur in Tibetan. Shengyur means variable, can change. So sleep is neither positive mind, not a negative mind. It is also not a neutral. I mean, it is neutral, but it does not remain neutral. It can be changed um, right before you sleep. So sleeping is non-awake. Awake is non-sleep, right? So at the time of non-sleep or at the time of being awake, the last thought, if it's a positive thought, then until you wake up, okay? From awake, the last waking thought, if that is a positive thought or positive mindset, then the whole sleep, if you sleep for 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, the whole sleep becomes positive mindset. So you can be sleeping, people will say, okay, this guy is sleeping, not doing any practice, not doing anything. But if the last thoughts of your before your sleep is positive, then you are accumulating merit all over. Mm. The same goes like if you sleep with a negative mindset, like, okay, I want to take revenge or something, I want to get, take revenge, whatever, negative, something negative. Then if you sleep for 2 hours, 3 hours, all your sleep becomes, you are accumulating negative karma mentally. You know, the three mental negative, three men, verbally there's four, mentally there's three, physically there's three, basically the 10 known virtues. So if you sleep the thoughts before your sleep will determine the awakening thoughts, immediate awakening thoughts before you sleep will determine whether the sleep becomes positive sleep or a negative sleep. Yeah. So the answer to the question is yes. So if you sleep with a positive thought, if you recollect all the good thoughts, good deeds that you have done for the day, immediately, even though you may not push yourself to think that way, you will feel good. And when you feel good and sleep, the whole sleeping sort of a pattern or the stream becomes a positive accumulating of good karma, accumulation of good karma.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to sleep that way, and then you sleep mindfully, right? That is the mental attitude, and physically, you are supposed to sleep either um, how to call that, heading to the east or heading to, maybe if you have an altar, head towards the altar, or if you have a if your room is not facing, if your bed is not facing to the east, if you don't have if your bed is not facing to the altar, then you can visually imagine that you are facing means sorry, your head is facing, okay, your head is headed towards, your head is first, you're headed towards east side, okay. If that is not possible, head towards the altar. If that is not possible, then visually imagine that you are headed towards where you. So it doesn't matter wherever you are headed now. So you cannot change your bed. So the direction of your bed. So due to whatever restriction you have, so you sleep and imagine that where your head is headed towards, that is where your guru, your teacher, is staying or residing. So sleep in a way that you imagine that you are heading towards your guru's side, like that, and then you are supposed to sleep. Um, this is the traditional way, okay? You sleep with your right hand underneath your right cheek, like this, and your left hand on the left leg, and so lie down as if the Buddha, you may have seen the reclining Buddha, right? Where we call the sleeping Buddha. Actually, it's the image of the dying Buddha. Usually people call it reclining Buddha or sleeping Buddha, but that is actually the image of the Buddha in the last stage, the death stage. So, sleep like that. And this is usually called the mm, lion's position or the lion's pose, lion's posture. So you sleep like that. If you sleep like that, then it's said that you will have a good sleep. You will increase the merit, you will increase positive thought, it will increase positive thought, and health wise there are many other benefits too, because for some reason, okay, let's say the heart is here, so if you sleep that way, you are pushing more, you're putting more weight on the heart. So if you sleep like this, the heart has become more light, right? You're not putting much pressure on the heart. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not an, but this is the explanation done in traditionally. So there are many other health benefits that is spoken in the traditional in 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 the books. So one of them is that, yeah, so you are putting less pressure on the heart. So I mean, heart pressure is the worst pressure, right? If your heart is in danger, then yeah, your life is in danger. So therefore, sleeping right side like this has those benefits. But spiritually speaking, this actually resembles the reclining Buddha, and and it's called the lion's pose because the way the Buddha passed away is called the lion's pose, the posture of the lion. And by sleeping in such a way, you are able to overcome the negativities. You are able to increase the positivity, positive energy, positive whatever you may call it. So it will increase, and you will have a good dream, no nightmare, and then you will have good thoughts during the sleeping time. You will have a nice dream, a sweet dream, and yeah. So there's other benefits. Okay, so I think that is enough for sleeping. So then you wake up, okay, let's say 4 a.m. You wake up at 4 a.m. Then the first thing you have to think about is to be grateful that you were able to wake up. because you know, how many people die each day, every day? I think about 600,000 or something, or maybe more. So you have to count yourself lucky that you are not part of that. So count yourself lucky that you are not died. Okay, you are sleeping under a roof. That means you have a house, and then yeah, you are sleeping on a bed. So many people are not sleeping on a bed. So basically, think of all the advantages that you have, of the privileges that you have, even though your life may be miserable with this and this and that. So many misery going on, suffering going on, but at the same time, there's so many good things to count on. So when you wake up, think of all these things, then be grateful, acknowledge um, the blessings that you have, and then dedicate yourself to do something good, make it useful. You are awake. So many people did not wake up this morning, so you are able to wake up. So if you're going to waste that day, just do some random things, and yeah, that what's the point of living? So that what's the difference between a living person and a dead person? If you just do your random things and don't contribute anything. So contribute, make a mark, do something positive, so that each day that you live is meaningful. So that should be the motivation that you have when you wake up. And of course, as a practitioner, you can add many other practices to that, reciting mantra, arapaza, whatever, this and that. Yeah. So some of you may have this issue like, okay, I have many teachers, or maybe I have one or two teacher, but I don't consider any of them as my guru. So therefore, how should I sleep, right? Or how do I imagine like sleeping on my teacher's side, etc. So in this case, you can, as a Dharma practitioner, you most likely have faith and devotion to Shakyamuni Buddha or to Amitabha Buddha. So imagine, or you maybe, okay, now for a lack of better word, let's call it your favorite Buddha. Okay, so you have your favorite Buddha. So imagine your favorite Buddha, and then sleep. When you sleep, that imagine that you are sleeping towards the direction of your favorite Buddha or your closest Buddha. This is how you sleep and how you make your sleep a meaningful sleep, a sweet dream. Yeah. Now, after that is, let's say you wake up and then Nagarjuna is directing King Gautamaputra after you wake up. Then you reflect on something called the four immeasurables, right? So the four immeasurables is introduced next. So the next verse is on the four immeasurables. So this verse is very the four immeasurable is something that we practice a lot in most of the Buddhist circles. So let me read it first. 참다 닝제 타당 가와 당 땅념 따도 양다 곰수직 공만예벌 마교 대다나 상배직된 데와 토버교 English. Uh, Constantly and perfectly reflect on love, compassion, joy, and impartiality. And should you not attain the higher state, at least you will find bliss in Brahma's world. Yeah. So this is called the. I think we did cover it during the words of my perfect master too. So it's sometimes called the four infinite qualities. It's also called the four immeasurables, and in the Theravada sutras, it is called the Brahma Vihara. So Brahma is the name of a god. Vihara means place, abode, or world. So world of the Brahma. So in the Theravada Sutras, usually it's referred to as Brahma Vihara, or the abode of the Brahma. So Brahma is the king of gods. So or in the Mahayana Sutras, they're called either four infinite qualities or four immeasurables. But they're basically the same thing. They're known by different names. Four immeasurable. So before you say immeasurable, so what are the four things, four qualities? That is love, compassion, joy, and equanimity, or what is translated here? It's a little bit different. Impartiality, that's what it's translated here. So equanimity is what usually is the translation is usually equanimity. So equanimity or impartiality. So these four things: love, compassion, joy, and equanimity or impartiality. So these four things, these are the four qualities, and they are regarded as four immeasurables. Okay, so there is normal love, there is normal compassion, there is normal joy, there is normal impartiality. Here we are talking about infinite or immeasurable. So why it's called immeasurable? Because the subject to which we have the love, we have the compassion, we have the joy towards is all sentient beings. Because this is the Mahayana practice, all sentient beings in because when you direct it to all sentient beings and all sentient beings infinite number, so it's called infinite qualities. Or it can also be known as immeasurable because when you there's a normal love which is conditional, normal compassion which is conditional. Okay, I love you because you love me, I care for you because you care for me, I will look after you, I feel happy for you because you feel happy for me. That's a trade-off, right? It's a business. You give me love, I give you love. That's a trade-off, it's a business. But then there is a unconditional love. Whether you love me or not, whether you care for me or not, whether you have compassion for me or not, I care for you because you are a sentient being, you are suffering, so therefore I care for you. So that becomes immeasurable, infinite. So you can call it infinite because the subject is the innumerable, all sentient beings, that is uncountable, innumerable. So it can be called infinite, or you can call it immeasurable because it's unconditional. So four immeasurable qualities or four infinite qualities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, and then why it's called Brahma Vihara, the place of Brahma, or the world of abode. So the exact wording is abode or a place. So the place of Brahma. So Brahma in Hinduism is the creator of the universe. So he's like the God with a capital G. So before Brahma came, there is nothing, and Brahma envisioned the world, and then when he so it's okay. Anyway, I'm not going to the whole story. So Brahma in Hinduism is the creator of universe. In Buddhism also we talk about Brahma, but he's not regarded as the creator of universe because Buddhism does not accept. It's not a theistic religion. So Brahma is the god or the king, ruler of all the gods, the god realm, the god realm, human realm, etc. So Brahma is a position of the ruler of the god. So that is the Brahma. So Brahma Vihara means Brahma's place. So what that means is by practicing these four immeasurables or four immeasurable qualities, you will be able to attain the state of Brahma Vihara, or basically you will be able to become the king of the gods. So therefore, the name Brahma Vihara is given according to the result, the what do you call that? The result. The result by practicing this, the result is you will become, you will attain the Brahma's world. So therefore, it's called Brahma Vihara. In the Mahayana tradition, it's called immeasurable or infinite because of the subject. It's infinite subject, all sentient beings. Immeasurable because of its quantity, the quantity or the power of the four qualities is immeasurable. So it's called infinite because of the subject is infinite, countless sentient beings. It's called infinite, yeah. It's called immeasurable because the love and compassion and all this that you have is unconditional, so it's called immeasurable. And it's called Brahma Vihara because the result by practicing this is you will become the god, the king of the gods. So what are the four immeasurables? I already explained. So this is a practice that we do in all the Buddhist circles. So after we do the Sangye Chodam Soge Chodam the refuge, we usually say, may all sentient beings be happy, attain happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering, right? May all sentient beings be happy is love. May all sentient beings be free from suffering, that's compassion. May all sentient beings be uh, may all sentient beings be unseparated from joyfulness that is free from suffering, right? That is the joy, immeasurable joy. Okay? And then may all sentient beings may all sentient beings remain in complete equanimity. So that is what is the word? I keep yeah, impartiality. Yeah, impartiality or in equanimity. So may all sentient beings be happy, that is love. May all sentient beings be free from, may all sentient beings attain happiness, that is love. May all sentient beings be free from suffering, that is compassion. May all sentient beings attain, never be separated from joy, that is free from suffering, that is joyfulness, okay, in immeasurable joy. And then may all sentient beings stay in the state of equanimity or impartiality, that is the equanimity, impartiality. Okay, then so first, so what we do, so okay, in this practice, what you are doing is to compassion, sort of love, compassion, and joy. So with loving kindness and compassion, what you are doing is to compassion, loving kindness, because you have love for your loved ones. I mean, people you like, your friends, your relatives, this thing, naturally you love them. Naturally, you have love for them. And so you are, that is a regular love, that is ordinary love. Now you practice, and then you are made to impose the same sort of love, same sort of attitude towards strangers. Okay. Then from strangers, when you are able to have the same sort of love and compassion for the strangers, basically someone whom you have never met before, and then gradually you are trained to impose that on your enemies, people that you dislike, people that you have difficulty with. And when you are, so that way, your enemy, the stranger, the enemy, and the friends all become uh, uh, equal. They're not same. Your enemy is your enemy. They harm you. Your friends and your relatives, they are good to you. So they are not same, but they are equal in the sense that they all desire happiness, like yourself, and then none of them wants suffering. So I mean, it's easy to say that out loud, but in order to inculcate that in our daily practices, that is what we try to do. So if we really practice this, okay, if we really put this into practice, just it sounds so simple, right? There's four practice: joy, love, compassion, equanimity. So simple. If we just practice this, then we will be able to the merit that we gain from practicing this will actually get us not only to the realm of a God, but the God of the God. So this is verse number, sorry, line, second line. The third line says, and should you not attain the higher state, at least you will find bliss in the Brahma world. So it says, even if you don't attain the higher state, you will still attain the Brahma Vihara or the Brahma's position. So the higher state basically is reference to, now it goes a little bit deeper into the Buddhist sort of spiritual, philosophical, and a spiritual sort of going more in depth. So you may have heard, may not have heard of something called the desire, the three realms: the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. So the higher state here is a reference to the form realm. Desire realm is everything that we see, basically, we touch, we taste, the five senses, everything that we enjoy, like, we have a liking to, we are accustomed to, the five senses, that is called the desire realm. So once you abandon the desire realm, then you reach what is known as the form realm. So I will go into this next week, because that is part of the next week's teaching. And so here the highest state is a reference to reaching out to the the form realm. By practicing these four immeasurables, you may not necessarily reach the form realm, but you reach the peak of the desire realm, which is the God's realm. The God of the God, the King of the God's realm, the King of the God's position.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will stop here today's class. I think there's no questions. We will recite the Tara mantra or the Tara praise to 21 Tara, the short one. Jesu ma pama drama la cha tse lo changze drama tare pa mo to da ra ye ji gun se le ma tu re te nama tam je tere ma so wa yi ye chen la ra di Om Jesu ma pama drama la cha tse lo Changze drama tare pa mo to da ra ye ji gun se ma tu re te nama tam je tere ma so wa yi ye chen la ra di Om Jesu ma pama drama la cha tse lo Changze le drama tare pa mo to da ra ye ji gun se le ma tu re te nama tam je tere ma so wa yi ye chen la ra di Om Jesu ma pa ma drama la chan se lo Changze drama tare pa mo to da ra ye ji gun se ma tu re te nama tam je tere ma so wa yi ye chen la ra di Om Jesu ma pa ma drama la cha tse lo Changze drama tare pa mo to da ra ye ji gun se le ma tu re te nama tam je tere ma so wa yi ye chen la ra di Om tare tu tare tu re so Om tare tu tare tu re so Omdare tutare dure somdare 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 tutare dure omdare tutare dure somdare 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 tutare dure omdare tutare dure somdare tutare dure somdare tutare dure somdare tutare dure omdare tutare dure so ha. Okay. Now we'll go to dedication. Gewa diye nyordo da lama sangye drogyoron drowa jegya male bange ye sala ge barasho chanjo zemjo rembo mage banama ge gyoro jegwa nyamba me barai kone gondo me warasho mi me nzeve tere jenchen Risi, Time, Gembe, Wine boy, Jambe, Du boy, Malu, Jomoin, San, Werda, Kanjin, Gembe, Zoge, Zon, Gamba, Lord, San, Time, Bishop, Lies, one day. Lives on time, sharp lies so wide. The many was in bear penage, no amount of you can large. No sound tricky, comes with children to engage in Tambara so one day.
Thank you, Ziwachela. Thank you, Ziwachela.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Brother Hong. Thank you so much.